Texas is proud to have been one of the states that originally filed the lawsuit challenging the legality of Obamacare. It's important to understand our lawsuit was not about health care. Our lawsuit was not about health insurance. Instead, our lawsuit was about an unprecedented mandate issued by the United States Congress and signed into law by Barack Obama. This is a mandate that compels all Americans to go out and purchase a product, whether you want to or not. Understand the significance of this. Never in the history of this country, from the time of George Washington through the time of George Bush, has Congress tried to exercise this amount of authority, this amount of compulsion on the American people. First time in American history this has ever happened. We understood that if we did not push back, if we did not defeat Obamacare, it would open the doors to the floodgates of potential congressional legislation compelling Americans to buy all kinds of products, such as forcing you to purchase an electric vehicle manufactured by General Motors, whether you want to or not. Going into the oral argument, I was hopeful that the justices on the Supreme Court would agree with Texas's position. Coming out of 3 days of the oral argument, I was convinced the justices agreed with us, at least 5 of them. I knew that we would lose 4 of them, the 4 liberal justices on the court. I was hopeful that the leading justices and probably tipping the scales in this case, Justice Kennedy and Chief Justice Roberts, I was hopeful that they would agree with our position. And the most powerful thing that came out of the oral arguments was the powerful words by Justice Kennedy himself, where he said that what Obamacare is attempting to do is to reshape the definition of the relationship between individuals and government. And that showed that Justice Kennedy got precisely the argument we were making, and that is the threat to you, to your individual liberty, to free enterprise, and to state sovereignty, and that if Obamacare is upheld, the justices understood it would reshape government as we know it. Regardless of how Obamacare case is decided, which by the way, we expect the decision to come out in June, but regardless of how it comes out, even if we win, all Americans need to understand that their liberty faces an ongoing threat from the Obama administration. Obamacare is not the only way in which we've seen an extreme use of executive power by the president, nor does winning the case mean that suddenly these excessive executive uses of power will suddenly fade. The last thing I'll mention to you is we've seen the importance of the role the United States Supreme Court plays in our lives. It's highly anticipated that at least one, maybe more than one justice will resign from the court during the next presidential administration. For these reasons, it's incredibly important that we maintain our fight, we maintain our effort, we continue our work to fight back against these overreaching abuses from the federal government. If we fail to do so, your liberty is subject to being lost forevermore.